just did a video on grieving, and there's something else I wanted to add to that video, which is along the same lines really. And that's, you know, when we lose people, we go into what I call grief tourism. That's my name for it. And when we get to this state of grief tourism, what I mean by grief tourism is we got events that when someone dies, there's obviously the day they were born, so it's their birthday. There's a day that they passed away. There's them missing it, special events in our life, whether it may be around Christmas time, or it may be just anniversaries that we would have had with them, and all these events stack up, so you get 4 or 5 things that you sort of days of remembrance during the year that you have to tune into all of a sudden. And that's fine, and I've got no problem with people who do that. It's not a problem. Everybody deals with everything in a different way. But the trouble is, when you start to get into losing 1 to losing 2, 3, 4, 5 people, 6 people around you, I'm talking very close people, friends or family, very close family, you can no longer keep up with this grief tourism. You have to learn to shut off, because you end up waking up, if you've got 6 people you've lost who are very, very close to you in tragic ways or whatever, you just lost in general, you love them a lot, you start to realize that if there's 4 or 5 events during the year that you would have spent with them, or special moments that you would have had with them that now you don't have, and there's sort of 5 or 6 people, you're talking about you're talking about every 3 weeks, every 2 or 3 weeks, if you average it out, you actually have to feel sorry for something. And it gets to the point where you wake up in the morning, when you lost so many, you wake up in the morning and you think, what is it I have to feel bad about today? What's happened? What anniversary is it? What's what's in the calendar? Let's see what we've written down. Is it somebody died on this day? Has somebody been born on this day who are now dead? And you go through all these things, and the anniversaries, like I said, and the special moments that you spent with them. And in the end, it becomes so regular that you almost become immune to it, because it's self-defense. You have to shut down. At some point, you've got to stop feeling that way. You have to. I've been quite a funny person in my life, but I always see like a birthday as being one day. You were only born on one day. You weren't born that same day every year. You were just born on that one day. So a birthday to me was only the once. And, and a death day, the day someone died, that was only the once. That was back then. It wasn't now. It wasn't relived. Because what we find is that we keep retuning into this grief and this pain and suffering because of what a calendar says, because modern man has invented this calendar that measures how many days it is since certain solar activity has happened, and then that we associate that day with somebody else and something that's happened in our lives, and we carry it on through the rest of our lives. If it wasn't for that, we just wouldn't know. We wouldn't have a clue. And this is why I think I don't blame people for feeling down on certain days, but from a personal point of view, when you lose so many, you need to tune out, because you'll find yourself tuning into such a it consumes you from head to toe. As soon as you think, oh my God, it's my mother's or my brother's or my sister's day they died today, or day they were born, or whatever, and then you get this wave of terrible feelings come over you, and in actual fact, by doing that and repeatedly doing that throughout your whole life, what we end up doing is destroying ourselves, and that's not what they want. And as I shared in a previous video just now, on grieving itself, in a way, if we keep tuning into all that's bad and all the bad ways that they've made us feel, we're doing them an injustice, because we're saying to them that the fact that they were in our lives, and the fact that they done all these wonderful things with us and everything else, has actually turned us into a depressed mess. Albeit for certain days of the year, it's still like it's strung out throughout the whole year, and they wouldn't want that. That isn't what they want. That's doing them an injustice. We're telling them the fact that we're in our life was a negative thing. It's not a positive thing, and that's not good. You know, we need to take the, you know, if we do anything on their special days, then we need to make sure we make it a special day in a way of doing something that they would have loved, something that they taught us that we found really useful, we loved about them, and just do that on that day or something like that. I mean, on a personal level, I don't even pay attention to birthdays, death days, anniversaries, or anything like that of people who have passed away or really close to me, because you just have to shut down. You have to. You've got no choice. In the end, it becomes so overwhelming that it's like you say, it's every 2-3 weeks that you have to feel bad about something, and you just can't cope. And you know, that's a time really to just switch off. Don't feel guilty. Everybody feels guilty for switching off. Just think about it from the injustice side of point of view. You know, think to yourself, I'm doing them an injustice because I'm telling them that the fact they're in my life has made me feel like this, made me feel like an absolute waste of space, and I can't do anything. I can't move. I'm crying. My kids are looking at me or something like that, or the grandchildren, and they're really upset because I'm upset. So I've basically upset them as well, which is all because of this person who's died. So you're almost, you know, doing something really negative. But it feels natural, you know, at the time, but it's really negative. When you start looking at it like that, you actually get to that day, and you might find that you actually find this, is what I call owning the darkness. When you own the darkness, you'll find that that particular day, if you do recognize it, and you wake up and you think it's their birthday or whatever, go and pick something that they would have done and go do it with somebody around you, or just have fun on that day. And you find that the energy that was left by that day, you're now owning. So instead of it owning you, where you become totally depressed from head to foot, and you're sat in the chair all day on and off crying, you don't want to do anything, don't want to go anywhere because of the particular day it is, all of a sudden you're using that energy and you're owning it. You've taken it, and now you're making it your, for want of a better phrase, in a recent meme I did, you're making the darkness your bitch. You're taking it and you're saying, right, that was a dark day in my life because I lost someone I really loved, but now I'm going to use that energy that I feel within, I'm going to raise it up through me, and I'm going to live an amazing day today to show them just how much they did for me. Do them justice, you know, make them look down and go, look at what I did, or look at what I've achieved. I haven't reduced that person to the sofa, I haven't reduced that person to tears, I've actually made them feel amazing. Just cry if you want, cry with happiness. Cry with the amazing achievement that you've just done, because you've just taken something and done something with your life that you would have never done on that day, and you can feel that energy so much you cry in that way. That's a great way, and that'll really raise your inner energy, and how, you know, and really give you will never look back. You will never look back once you do it, just the once, you know. So yeah, that's my thoughts on grief tourism.